is invading your airwaves. Be on the lookout.
Geeks and Gamers.
Hello, Geeks and Gamers. It's the Sports Wars podcast. My name is Jeremy. I'm joined here today by one smart football fan. That would be the Patriot fan, David LaRock, and a couple of butthurt Brady haters in the Morgan brothers. So, no, it was a huge weekend in the NFL. Obviously, we had the conference championship games. One of those games was extremely entertaining and stressful. The other game was pretty damn boring. So, but before we get into that, let me welcome our panel of very intelligent people, meaning David LaRock this week. David, how you doing today?
Fantastic.
How was your weekend?
No, pretty good.
Pretty good.
A little bit stressful, but you know,
okay.
Always a glorious, victorious Monday.
Yeah. There's that guy, that number 12. He knows how to play football. But now you can't see it here on the YouTube upload, but Roy Morgan has his screen name here on the program we're using as Brady Sits When He Pees.
That's John, actually.
So, is that John? My bad. So
nice.
John has Brady Sits When He Pees, and I want to give him a shout out for that because you're not going to be able to see it. So what's up,
Thank
John?
you. I was going to say it whether you did or not.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. Pretty good. Shout out to all of us for failing miserably on that Vikings game. Calling it. Yeah, that was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have picked Eagles because I picked Eagles against Atlanta, but I was chilling with Mickey. So
we got to talk about that too, David.
there's a lot to talk about.
And Roy Morgan, what's up, Roy?
Man, the Brady Busters are here. Me and John are here to break up the Tom Brady love fest that inevitably is going to happen. It was entertaining football. I think the game that was close was the one that nobody expected to be close.
This is true.
That's accurate. Yep.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get into the big game, the entertaining game of the weekend, and that was the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the New England Patriots. Obviously, Jacksonville came out, hit New England right in the mouth. It was a very intense game. The world was so happy for 3 quarters, much like they were happy for 3 quarters last year, but I won't bring that one up. And,
Man, you said this, you're making it hard not to cuss, dude.
No, but Jacksonville looked great. That they have a strong defense. Blake Bortles played really, really well. But you have to put your foot on Brady's throat if you have him down, and they didn't, and they wasted a couple of opportunities, and I think everybody knew what was going to happen late in that game. And Brady did what Brady does. So
I mean, the Jaguars did pretty much. They fell into the trap of playing to not lose instead of playing to win.
Yep.
And I mean, they didn't. There was no big mistakes by the Jaguars. They didn't. Was there any turnovers? The Jaguars.
No.
I mean, the Pats
None.
had more turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, and they didn't. I mean, the problem is once they got about halfway through the third quarter, it kind of sunk in like, holy shit, we're still in this.
The walls start closing in.
Yeah, and then it's like and then it turned into run, punt. I mean, and it was just like they weren't even doing a very good job of playing keep away. They got away from their offense, whereas Atlanta in the Super Bowl last year was just like, instead of playing keep away, we're like, fuck it, let's just keep running our offense. And the adjustments happened, and then the fucking walls came closing in, and I'm going to need therapy again.
Well, I mean, and even me, I'm the most optimistic Patriots fan late in games when Tom Brady's the quarterback, and you guys know this. But when that fumble happened, that freak fumble,
Yes.
I was like, oh, hell. This
Still don't think that fucker should have been blown dead, but okay.
I mean, look, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have the ability of replay of 40 cameras in slow motion in HD. These referees are calling it on the field as it happens.
But I mean, it ended up being. I mean, in any case, at the very least, even if it does end up being coming back, don't you kind of have to let that play out and let him Because I mean, the only reason he stopped was because the whistle was blown and it was blown dead.
Well, because in live TV, I legit thought, and I'm sure the ref and everybody in America, that Dion touched him as soon as the ball was stripped.
Yeah,
that was my thoughts there. Is
So
if you hit a runner and he stumbles for 5 yards, if he falls, he's down.
But I mean, how many times a season do we yell at the TV because we're like, fuck, just let it play, let the play out, and especially in a spot that huge. Because I mean, Jack is gone. I mean, he picks that ball up, he is gone. We're talking 3-score game. It's basically a wrap. I mean, that's the turning point that slams the door. And
I get it.
I'm not blaming that spot. I mean, the Jags had plenty of opportunities. I know a lot of people talk
more than plenty
myself about those 2 calls in the first half.
What calls?
There was one call. I know me and Jeremy got into it pretty big about the roughing the targeting rule. And
He hit him in the head.
Targeting.
Oh, no. My thing, there's nowhere for him to go. There's no.
Gronk is 6'8".
They're both. I mean, and Church isn't a small guy. They're both standing up. He didn't
look. I get it,
but this happens. This happens every week with the targeting. Nobody's saying that the guy was wrong.
It's not dirty.
He wasn't.
I guess my interpretation of it is intent.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
My interpretation is true. I mean,
no, that's just lies.
You can't tell me what my interpretation is.
If it's helmet to helmet, it's a 15-yard flag. It's fine. It's not dirty. It is what it is, but it's the right call. Gronk kind of shrugs.
And then the pass interference, where they're pretty much playing. They're playing tag. He
grabbed his shoulder with the right hand. That was the problem.
And Cooks pushed him at the end. I mean,
well, yeah, because he drove him out of bounds.
On an uncatchable ball.
Chris Carter said on First Things First that is straight up pass interference, and he got real passionate about it.
To me, it should have been offsetting, but like I said, I'm not blaming the loss on that. I mean, shit. At that point, they were still up. They still had a double.
Yeah, they were up for like 90% of the game. My thing is, so all the tinfoil conspiracy, the NFL is a rigged shits. Half of Jacksonville's penalties were dead balls. The delay of game coming off a timeout,
right?
Illegal shifts, the helmet to helmet. Like, it's not like there was this one, like in the Steeler game, like this one huge call that, oh, wow, they won. No, like it's none of that shit. New England is one of the least penalized teams for one reason. That is because discipline. Yes. They don't do stupid shit. Okay? They don't fumble because they don't do stupid shit unless Dion, which, that's a different story. But it comes back to one play. If you have the number one passing defense, okay, in the league, and you're talking smack, you're the new Legion of Boom from Florida, Duval, all that other shit.
Saxonville.
If it's 3rd and 18 and you can't get off the field without Gronk, that's it. That's just make a stop. Game's over.
That running play at the end was kind of the fucking nail in the coffin when Lewis turned the corner. Although I've seen replays that show a hold, but
shit.
Spoiler alert: holds happen almost every play.
That's what I'm saying. There's holds on every running play.
Yeah.
And then let's be honest. So how about this? How about they call the holding? You back up 10 yards. You pretty much rerun the play, so you milk more clock. Then Blake Bortles has 90 seconds to go 85 yards.
That's the baby goat, man. That's the baby goat.
We saw they had a great first half game plan. The issue is they ran out of plays in the second half. It was their last 5 drives were the same. Run on first down.
You got to turn that fucking play card back over and start at number 1. I mean,
but then it's predictable. I mean, you don't.
Weren't they already predictable? We're talking about Jacksonville.
That's the key. That's the key. When you have Blake Bortles, you are so limited what you can do offensively.
This game was way closer than it should have been, and
Jacksonville's legit. Like, they have a good defense.
Not the Super Bowl horn here, but in the podcast last week, I said this game was going to be surprisingly close, and New England was probably going to pull it out.
So did I.
I think someone said uncomfortably close.
And let's ask LaRock, were you uncomfortable as fuck through the majority of that game?
Yes.
All right.
I recall tagging him in the discussion thread, and he was like, "You can kick rocks for this shit."
Yeah. No.
All right, John, what were your thoughts?
I mean, obviously, the Jacksonville. I mean, they blew the game. I mean, they had opportunity. I ain't gonna say they blew the game completely. They had opportunities to close it out.
Their inexperience showed.
Okay.
Yes.
Hang on. If Jay Cutler is the quarterback for New England, who wins that game?
He's gonna make you fucking say it, dude.
Jacksonville wins the game. There's a common denominator in all of these situations where everybody claims people are choking against the Patriots. They're playing.
I'm not gonna say they choked. They missed opportunities. And the second half adjustments that the defense for the Patriots made.
And that's what you have to when you're playing against Brady, you have to capitalize. If you don't, he will make you pay. And it's that simple. And that's not choking or losing a game. That's you not being good enough to put him away.
Shout out to I think I may get this wrong, Roy. Kevin Duncan. I think he made a poll in the group. Was like, did the Patriots win that game or the Jacksonville choke it away? I'm trying to pull up the results from that poll.
It's a little bit of both.
I think it was overwhelming that the Patriots won, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, if Jags plays situational football, they win the game.
Right. I mean, it's that simple, and that's where I get so caught up in people saying, "Oh, well, Seattle choked." No,
they didn't.
Happened. Atlanta choked. No,
I said the same thing last year after the Super Bowl, and I got fucking roasted for it. And I'm like, look, to say obviously shit didn't go right, obviously, but to say, oh, it was all Atlanta choking is to me disrespectful to what happened. I mean,
well, it's real simple. What was the fourth down play where Gilmore made the play? What was it? Fourth and
18.
Was it 4th and 18? What was the previous play before then? It was 3rd and what?
It was 3rd and 8 maybe, and then Harrison, Vanoy strip sack.
Right. So in a 3rd and 8, they lose 10 yards.
Yes.
When Tom Brady's on a 3rd and 18, he gets a first down. That's the difference in winning and losing a football game right there.
That's accurate. And then I will say this, in Patriot lore, that Gilmore pass breakup is probably the single third best Pats defensive cornerback play in history.
LaRock's gonna shit on a t-shirt.
I mean, honestly, 5 inches to the left or to the right, his hand misses that, and that's a score.
Yeah, and he didn't push off; he jumped.
Yeah, that was
it was a great play. It was
correction.
One of the better plays by a cornerback that you're ever gonna see.
Yeah,
I did mess this guy's name up. I apologize. It's Kenrick Duncan made that poll, and 38 people said the Patriots won, and 19 said Jaguars choked, and then 5 people said it was both.
Right.
And I was one of the 5.
So obviously that was a nail biter, and it created a ton of dialogue and a ton of conversation, which is what we want from these games. Then we got the snooze fest with Minnesota and Philadelphia. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. First of all, I didn't care about this game anyway, because I was coming off of that, emotional roller coaster from the New England Jacksonville game. But then when it started and Minnesota scored, I went in our discussion thread and I was like, Minnesota's got this. And then boom, it just went to hell for
apparently somebody posted it was a direct feed to the Philadelphia sideline.
I guess so.
Like, we're fucking underdogs again.
But I didn't care who won this game. I really had no interest in this game. I thought I was going to be interested in this game, but once it started, I just did not care. So what were your guys' thoughts on this game? I think we all picked Minnesota last week to win this game.
By a fucking blowout.
Yeah, and obviously we were all wrong.
I think you were the only one on the fence that you were back and forth.
Right.
I mean, I like Philly against Atlanta, and then I like Philly against Minnesota.
Okay.
But you weren't here, mother.
I was not here, so technically I did not count. But.
So
he told Mickey his pick.
What do you think happened here? Do you think that Minnesota just came in there still on emotional roller coaster from the previous week?
That definitely played a part.
And then thinking ahead to the following 2 weeks of being like, hey, we can be at home for the Super Bowl.
They did what Pittsburgh did to Jacksonville.
Look ahead.
They looked ahead, and obviously on top of the emotional lift that they got off that last play against New Orleans, and it just they coming off of a win that big, and they came out flat. I mean, beyond flat, and I think also a combination of, I mean, when's Nick Foles has played how many games this year? Like 4 or 5?
I think
Five,
Okay.
yeah.
It's a combination. Nick Foles he's got the advantage of he's not a rookie, so he's seen some shit before, but teams don't really have a whole lot of tape on him, and especially in the last 5 games in this new offense. I mean, because previously was it Chip Kelly's offense or was it Andy Reid's?
Yeah. No, it was Chips.
It was Chips. Okay, so I mean, obviously Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, this offense is completely different. And I don't know where these RPOs are going with Nick Foles, because I mean he's not really much of a running guy. So excuse me, but I mean,
well, clearly Carson Wentz is a system quarterback, right? Am I right? I mean, is that?
Yeah, I had to hear Colin Cowherd say today that Wentz is like a generational talent already.
I mean, he's good. I mean, he can do things that Foles can't, mostly with his legs.
I mean, no, he's calling him one of the greatest quarterbacks of this generation already.
I mean, well, the generation kind of sucks, right?
Oh no, he's lumping him in with guys like Luck and Wilson, and above like Stafford and Newton and.
Yeah, that's kind of a stretch.
Yeah, that's definitely a stretch. But yeah, overall, this is a pretty boring game. I didn't really care about what happened, and so we will not get into. Yeah, we're not going to get into much of the predictions for the Super Bowl. We'll cover that next week. But
tune in next week, kids.
Yeah, but we're going to move into.
Can I say?
Go for it.
Before we move on, Atlanta will now be the first team in NFL history to make it to the Super Bowl and home.
Is that next year?
Yes, they're in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium next year, baby.
Oh, all right.
Hey, guys, hang tight. I got to pause this video. Okay, moving on. So this week we are going to dive into the Sports Wars mailbag. Now, if you're not part of our Sports Wars Facebook group, feel free to join. Roy and John are admins. David is the resident. I can't call him the troll because Jimmy is the troll god, but David is the statistician though. And
if you bring some fake shit, I will destroy you.
Yeah,
he's our petty Betty.
Yeah. But we've got a couple of good questions. I picked out a few. There's a few questions that we're going to hold off until next week because they're talking about the Super Bowl, and we're going to hold those back. So, first question is from Kevin Frazier, and this is a really good question. And now that the Vikings season has ended in disappointment, what do you think the Vikings do at quarterback? They have 3 quarterbacks. Do they have a starter worthy on the roster? David, what do you think?
Yes, his name is Teddy Bridgewater. They will sign him to a cheap show-me deal. The ceiling is much higher. I believe Case Keenum will be in Denver, and Sam Bradford will be somewhere in obscurity because his knees don't work. But if they're smart, Teddy will be the guy. Case Keenum showed you that he's not worth $20 million last week, but Denver will pay for him.
That's a really good observation. John?
I somewhat agree. You don't get rid of Teddy Bridgewater because of the unfortunate injury he had. I do agree with the show me deal. Basically, show us that you can come back stronger and perform. And honestly, I mean, Case Keenum in Denver, I mean, that sounds good. I like that. As far as him, shitting the bed one game, I don't know if that really hurts his money that much. I mean,
it's only the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, he carried them all season.
He had the number 1 defense behind him.
I mean,
I think
defense
it's
wins championships, but offense got to put points on the board.
perception is reality. Case Keenum has a bad perception. Doesn't matter what he did, what he didn't do. There's a perception that Case Keenum's not a starting NFL quarterback typically. There's a perception that he had a team that carried him this year. And the fact that they showed up and they did not perform in the NFC Championship, I don't think it's personally his fault, but the perception is the guy didn't do what he needed to do to get over that hump of perception.
That defense allowed those 38 damn points.
Yeah.
Well,
That
Xavier
number one
Rhodes.
defense.
Well, how many turnovers they have? He had 1 pick six. Xavier Rhodes, their best corner, goes out. The very next play, 39-year-old Newman gets burned. I mean, it was a Philly snowball effect.
Yeah. Roy, what do you got on this Minnesota?
I agree that it's likely going to be Bridgewater in Minnesota, probably on maybe like a 15 mil a year, maybe 1, maybe 2 years. Likely probably 2 years, second year being like a team option or something like that, or player option. I'm not sold on Keenum in Denver because I think Elway is going to make a run at Kirk Cousins or Alex Smith because we know Andy Reid's dumb enough to trade a quarterback within the division again. So I think Case Keenum, the one I keep, the one that makes too much sense to me is Arizona. David Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald. Obviously they've still got some work to do, but he's familiar with the West Coast out there. He's familiar with that division. He played for the Rams last year. I like Case Keenum in Arizona more than pretty much anywhere else, and they're desperate enough to probably pay him about $20 million a year, and probably another short 1, 2, 3 year deal. Not enough that you're hanging an entire franchise on it. Whereas if he comes in that first year and shits the bed, you can go ahead and draft a guy and have him sit for half a season, a year. Basically, give him a Nick Foles deal where, like the Rams did, they let Foles play out 1 year and then drafted Goff. So I like Keenum in Arizona.
Yeah, I'm a big Bridgewater fan. I mean, I don't know how he's going to perform moving forward with that injury, but I thought he had a lot of potential coming out of college. So I think that they definitely have to go with Bridgewater and give him the type of deal
that injury worries me, dude. He was
absolutely.
He was a mobile quarterback.
He was mobile, but he wasn't that mobile.
No, I mean we're not talking like Lamar Jackson type shit where he's like constantly rolling out. But
they said the injury made people fucking throw up on the practice field.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of rough, dude.
Yeah.
But if he gets any kind of mobility back, then
he's type that he can stay in the pocket and he can drop dimes. So we'll see. But I wouldn't give him a long-term deal. I'd give him a 1-year deal, show me deal like
and he's a good kid, man. I want to see him do well.
He is. He really is. Yeah. So all right, moving on. Robert Farrington he's asking the tough questions here. Todd Haley hiring by the Browns, good or bad? I mean, it's the Browns and it's a Browns thing. Like, I'm just going to toss this one to LaRock.
I mean, I just love Pittsburgh. Just anything that comes out of Pittsburgh's great. I mean,
#sarcasm.
I mean, if they can get some stability, I mean, I guess okay. The issue is this is not the first time Todd Haley has bumped heads with a quarterback. I believe he had issues with Warner, and now it's Ben. He's very abrasive. So, good thing that you have a young QB to, belittle and yell at. It's Cleveland. I mean, I guess. I mean, they got pieces. They got Gordon. They got Johnson. They can't go anywhere but up. So,
I mean,
Roy?
Hugh Jackson has done an amazing job of keeping Cleveland somewhat motivated. They've won one game in 2 years. Was it one game in 2 years?
Yeah.
And they don't ever look like they don't give a shit out there. And now you're adding Haley to the mix, who maybe isn't that good of a coordinator, but because, I mean, anybody can look good if you're coaching arguably the top running back and arguably the top wide receiver in the league. but you're going to get a motivated Haley who's going to he's going to do everything he can to shit on the Steelers those 2 games, and everything he can do to make the Steelers look bad, he's going to do it. Because isn't this the second time he's been fired by them?
Yep.
He's been fired by the Steelers. No, he didn't get fired the first time. He left and took the Arizona job.
Yeah.
Did he get fired this time? Though I thought he said, I'm just not coming back.
No, they did. They chose not to renew his contract, but we know what that means. That's code for get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
We'll mail you your shit.
Here's a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Yep. John?
I mean, honestly, you're a shitty fucking person if you're rooting against the Browns. I mean, I think you gotta let them have something. They had a fucking parade for going 0-16. Let them have something.
But here's how I'm going to answer it. Todd Haley missed his calling. The WWE is in desperate need of talent, and he should have been in the WWE whooping people's ass.
Was a manager
just whoop some ass. Like, become the next Stone Cold. He's crazy as hell. The dude is insane. So he might as well just put some Ultimate Warrior face paint on and, tie some rubber bands around his arms, just go out there and act crazy. I mean, that's
quick side topic. Did any of y'all watch that last night? I don't watch wrestling, but I watched it last night just because of the old people.
I have not watched wrestling in about 3 years, and everybody hyped that up last night. And, we have a pro wrestling group too. So join that Pro Wrestling
Nation.
And that show was meant to pull old school people like myself back in. I was depressed after I watched it. It was so bad.
One of the single biggest disappointing shows I've ever watched in my life.
I didn't have any sound. I was watching it during the gaming podcast. I mean, I watched Stone Cold fucking.
And that was it.
That was the best part.
That was the only good part.
The opening little video montage of all the hits, and then they brought out Stone Cold to stun Vince one more time, and then it was like. And then they brought out The Undertaker to do some rambling ass promo in the Manhattan Center.
And that was none of it worked, man.
The fans in the Manhattan Center were chanting bullshit. They're pissed off.
The best part of the night, and obviously Stone Cold was great, but they didn't let him cut a promo. So I'll check the WWE Facebook page, and I guess they did a backstage interview with Stone Cold. And that was the best part of the night because he did full Stone Cold. Like some nobody guy was interviewing him. He's like, "Hi, Stone Cold. How does it feel to be back?" And Stone Cold was in character, gave an answer. And then the guy was like, "Oh, thanks a lot." And Stone Cold's like, "What did you just say to me, son?" He's like, I'm a legend. I drew money. He's like, I set the path, and all you got is one question for Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he just cuts a killer promo and destroys this interviewer. And I'm like,
how are you
so good?
How are you going to bring on the star of the Attitude Era and not give him a fucking mic?
I know, man. Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. But yeah, so I watched it, hoping to get something out of it, and I
turned it off halfway through.
I have no desire to watch wrestling now.
See, this just goes to show you how bad the Browns are when it was a question about the Browns offensive coordinator and now we're talking about wrestling.
Hey, yeah.
We're not gonna have enough breadcrumbs to get home after this.
All right, and we have one more question, and this is just for fun. Joey M. Reeves asks, pick any athlete to win a skills competition in any other sport, like LeBron home run derby, JJ Watt slam dunk contest. Who and what challenge are you choosing? Now, I'm going to go first because there's only one name to mention, and that is
ring that damn bell.
Tim Tebow in a home run derby. Because
although technically, isn't that his own sport now?
I guess. I mean, you know what?
Ring that bell.
Hold on. Give me Tim Tebow just to save the world in general. How about that? Because he can do everything. He can win college football national championships. He can win NFL playoff games. He can hit home runs. He can save kittens from trees, and he can heal humanity. So that's my answer. David, I know you're a big Tebow fan, but you can't take my answer.
Love him. No. So I would take Gronkowski with any ice skating competition.
Are you
Like-
shitting me right now?
What?
No. So, like, the family grew up in Western New York. They ice skate. They're huge hockey fans.
I mean, put him in the hockey rink. Yeah, I could get that. I see that.
Yeah, yeah.
put
Not
him in
fucking
fucking-
figure skating.
What's the
No,
what's
no,
the
the
what's
hockey
the Will
rink.
Ferrell movie, The Blades of Glory? You putting Gronk in
No,
Blades
no.
of Glory?
No. I hockey, skating, a skills competition, like speed skating.
I'd put him in a beer pong competition. It's Gronk.
That would be
Hot dog eating contest.
Yeah, put him in a damn pie eating contest.
That was a good answer, LaRock. That was a good one. John?
I'll take Clayton Kershaw in a passing competition.
Okay.
he
Like
pitches for a
quarterback
living.
challenge.
Hey, he
Hey.
plays baseball, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're
Going
still
to a
throwing
quarterback.
something.
Hey, still, that's not the question. You put
that was
fucking
so
Gronk in a
unoriginal.
figure skating outfit.
I'm just saying.
Nobody
If you
wants to
can
see
fucking
Gronk in
skate.
Titans.
I'm gonna take a picture to throw.
Roy, what you got?
I'll take Julio in a slam dunk competition.
Okay.
I think he's one of the more impressive verticals in the league. Bonus answer.
Say something about that goddamn pass. I dare you.
I mean, hey, you might as well put him in basketball because he's not working out in football. So
Yeah,
All right, we're done. We're done.
That's old takes
Hey.
exposed.
Hey, I'm a Bama fan and I love Julio. I'm just calling it like that. That was not good, that drop. But that's actually a really good question though, that from Joey. And actually, I'm actually going to go ahead and I didn't tell the guys, but I mean, we had a topic that we were going to cover with Kawhi and the Spurs and Giannis and the Bucks, but he's worked it into a question. So we're going to kill two birds with one stone, and that is, which issue is bigger for the respective players and teams, the Kawhi Spurs situation or the Giannis Bucks? So I'm going to pass this one off to Roy.
It's Kawhi. It's Kawhi Leonard. Now, as much as the Giannis is kind of taken up for his guy, Jason Kidd, he would go to bat with ownership. I just think it's because they're friends, man. You go to bat for your friends. It wasn't this. He didn't pitch a fit because Kidd got fired. He just wanted to look out for his boy. Whereas apparently Kawhi is not very happy. I haven't gotten real details on why exactly he's pissed off with the Spurs organization. But
I believe it's rehab.
Are they slowing it? Are they speeding it up? Are they slowing it down?
It's something about they're not handling it properly in his
He's
perspective.
Because they kind of just shoved him down. I don't know.
And honestly, between Giannis and Kawhi is the quietest dude.
Yeah.
And for that to come out that he's like, I want out of here, some shit has had to have gone down. And to me, that's a bigger deal. And I mean, as much as everybody, as great as Pop is as a coach, I think you pull Kawhi out of there and the free fall may start, dude. I don't know what the standings look like now, but
Well, I'm gonna jump in here real quick, and I think that to answer it in the way he formed it, what's a bigger deal in the respective teams? I think it's Giannis and the Bucks, because I think if the Spurs with their infrastructure, with Pop, with their historic franchise, if they want to fix something, I think they have the pieces to fix it. If Giannis I'm going to take a line from our boy Clay Travis, at least mine and David's, but the Bucks have outkicked their coverage with Giannis. Okay, they've way outkicked their coverage, and they have to do everything. If this dude starts to get even the least bit unhappy, he
just signed an extension 2 years ago.
I think you could probably convince Giannis that this was a business move, and the Bucks they're sliding. I mean, they were sliding out of the work. Aren't they just about to slide out of 8th place?
Mm-hmm.
You could probably convince Giannis, look, dude, this was made. This was a decision made for the team. You could convince him of that. You're not going to be able to convince Kawhi, hey, we're taking your health more serious than you're taking it. So, I mean, that's why I think that's a much bigger problem.
I think
so.
Pop can
The
fix
bigger.
it. Go ahead, Rob.
So the bigger picture is, okay, let's say Kawhi is unhappy with Pop, whatever. They have not really signed any big free agents aside from LaMarcus in that entire run of Pop. He's
No,
drafted.
they're just cherry picking European players.
Exactly, which is fine. Some disgruntled, David West of the world, they draft Manu, etc. So to put this in a Patriot form to spin it,
Oh shit! Where's the Patriots bell?
This is almost like if Brady and Belichick had a verbal outing and they physically don't like each other. They're not going to attract any free agents. Pop is very, very hard-headed. He's, we see him in the interviews. He's not the most friendliest of guys. He's super, super intelligent. But if Kawhi can't get along with him, this has a much more bigger ramification than just this year. Because if he leaves because of Pop, fuck the foundation. Pop's the foundation. Like there's no more Timmy. Like there's no more Parker. There's no more Manu. This, and
Kawhi's got, I want to say he has, after this year, he has one more year.
One more.
And then a player option.
Which is deuces.
So let me, or John, go ahead.
I completely agree with, this is a Kawhi is a lot bigger than this, the Greek guy, because I can't say his last name.
Well, let me throw out a fun hypothetical for you off the top of my head, and that is if Kawhi was to leave,
LeBron.
Do you have any idea where he would go?
LeBron.
Golden State.
Oh,
Hell no.
Jeez.
I mean, we don't know what he likes. We don't know his interests.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Like Boy said, he's quiet as shit.
I'd say you a place that would be very interesting after this season, if it was done after this year, and that's fucking Oklahoma City. With no Carmelo, and no Paul George, Russ and the quiet Kawhi Leonard playing defense, doing his fucking job.
So they can go up against Golden State?
Hey, you know what I like?
He's not stupid.
I like the quiet Kawhi going to join forces with the quiet Ball over in LA.
Hell no.
And then LeBron can come in and basically let other people win his next championship for him.
So I'm thinking bigger picture. I think Miami. I think if he likes structure and leadership and from top down, I think him and Pat Riley.
Miami's too flashy for Kawhi. It wouldn't surprise me to see him in fucking Milwaukee or something.
Hey, that would be pretty interesting right there.
What are they going to do with what's the kid that was supposed to be one of the next big things? Old Jabari Parker.
Yeah, and his knees just keep giving out.
Yeah, so I mean,
shout out to Glenn Big Dog.
Nice.
Shout out to Glenn Big Dog Robinson. That was my favorite player back in the day. Milwaukee Bucks.
God,
what up?
Purdue?
What up? Yep. Hey man, he was Player of the Year in Purdue.
And I believe his son plays for the Knicks.
He was actually really good. He was
I don't think his son is in the league anymore.
Really? Robinson Jr.?
Yeah, I don't think he's in the league anymore. I think you're thinking of Tim Hardaway Jr.
I don't think he's in the league anymore. I might be wrong.
Robinson was it Glenn Robinson the third? I
think so. Yeah.
He's not in the league anymore.
But Glenn Robinson, I thought was going to be a great player. He turned out to be a really solid player in the NBA, but he never turned out to be good. But anyway, we're way off course. David's looking up stats right now and personnel and all that stuff. So
plays for the Pacers.
Oh, well, that's why nobody heard of him because nobody cares about the Pacers.
Yeah, who gives a fuck about the Pacers?
But let's move into our final topic, and that is LeBron and the Cavs. It's really there's a lot of problems going on in Cleveland right now. I haven't been keeping up with the NBA as closely because I'm so wrapped into football, but we're getting to that point where I'm going to be transitioning from football, obviously, into the NBA more so. But Cleveland's lost, what? Is it 9 out of their last 11 games now?
It's been a rough.
But don't worry, Roy. We'll see.
It's wait and see.
Wait and see.
It's hashtag wait and see. But
yeah.
I think we're now. This is something that the Griggs isn't used to hearing from me about LeBron. I think we may be there with this. We waited. We're waiting to see in November. We're waiting to see in November, and it's January. And I know. It's
almost February.
Right,
I
but
even said last week.
Here's the thing. What my question is, and you guys can answer if you think there's real problems or whatever. What do you think the ceiling is for the Cleveland Cavaliers this year? Do you think it's the Eastern Conference Finals? Do you think it's the Finals? I think nobody's really going to pick Cleveland to win the Finals at this point.
No.
So what is the ceiling for them?
I don't think anybody was picking them to win the Finals. Even if this went perfectly, if this went the way it was supposed to go with D Rose and D Wade and what else was the AARP guy they signed?
I think in the most perfect of scenarios, the most perfect that you could have made a case for them to be competitive this year against Golden State in the preseason, but it clearly did not work out. So what is the ceiling right now for the Cleveland Cavaliers?
They make it to the finals. They're going to go to the finals.
And
I
get
don't think
boat
they'll be swept. They'll probably get 2 games.
2.
Yeah, I think they'll get 2.
You're a little more optimistic than I am.
I don't see that happening.
They gave up 150 points to the Thunder.
I mean, they're not going to do that in 7 games, though. Nobody's going to score. Nobody's going to maintain that over a 7-game series against Cleveland.
I don't know.
If you're the Warriors,
I think the Warriors can come in there and whoop some ass.
Ironically, they have D Wade, they have D Rose. The one thing they don't have is defense.
Is D Rose back?
He
busted out the gut.
Be here all night. But no, they don't have
drums there.
They have pieces, and they're forcing a triangle into a square, and it's not working. They're awfully slow athletically on the wings. They're old. Kevin Love doesn't play center. He plays stretch 4. Did you hear the story that came out today that Love left because he was sick?
Yep.
And they had a player-only meeting to discuss if Love was actually sick.
I don't think that was the only topic, but yeah, that definitely got brought up.
It's just – and then LeBron saying, oh, well, I don't know if Lou's going to be fired. I'm just laser-focused on playing basketball. You got David Blatt fired, and he's coaching in fucking Germany. Like –
All right, and here's something else. Griggs and LaRock both know that I'm the LeBron optimist.
100%.
I cannot defend the shit he did today with the congratulating himself on the Twitter post.
Yes.
He got
I cannot defend that shit. Okay, I truly cannot defend that shit. It's like I don't know if LeBron's just like having a complete like month of mental breakdowns of what the fuck is going on right now.
Dude, he got roasted so hard for that, bro.
He's still getting fucking roasted for it.
He has all great athletes have a PR team. Like we know damn well Tom Brady doesn't actually do those hype videos. LeBron doesn't actually control his fucking IG account. Who in the right mind was like, you know what? That's a great idea. Pat yourself on the back.
Probably the same person who okayed KD having the burner Twitter account.
I kind of think that was actually KD though.
I do too.
Oh no, that was KD. I'm absolutely positive.
I don't even think KD has a PR team.
Kevin Durant has turned into such an unlikable player for me.
Like he went from like Oklahoma.
That's because he went to Golden State. He's a bitch.
He's kind of turned into a bit like what was the shit he was talking about the center in Houston? He was like, dude, you're getting passes from CP3 and Harden. You don't do enough to talk shit. And I'm like, dude, didn't you join a 73-win fucking team?
He's ridiculous, man. But yeah, that's gonna
Cleveland's up on San Antonio by 3 right now.
Oh, by 3 without Kawhi.
yeah.
A quarter.
Struggling San Antonio.
3.5 left in the first.
Oh, yeah, that won't last.
Yeah.
That won't last.
Barn burner.
But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Sports Wars podcast. Before we run, we always try to do some shout outs. David usually doesn't really shout anything out unless he has something to complain about. But we're going to start with Roy Morgan. Any shout outs, sir?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would like to start this out by giving a shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles fan base for being the only fucking fan base that would make people question rooting for the Patriots. Like the amount of shit that's come out in the last. You've been the NFC champions for like 3 days. And people are already like, I don't know if I want to root for the Eagles because their fans fucking suck. There are 30 other teams that are rooting for you, that want to root for you, but the fans are making it almost impossible for them in good conscience. Someone ran around the city of Philadelphia with a banner that said "Fuck Millie," who was the Minnesota grandmother that got tickets to the Super Bowl. That is like, holy shit. Shout out to Philadelphia for just being the worst possible fans. Except for Abby, we love you, dude. We know you're not one of those guys.
This is true.
Send me a cheesesteak.
This is true. LaRock, what you got?
I want to give a shout out to all the people that bombarded my voicemails, my inbox, my DMs from since Sunday all the way now about every single referee bad call in the past 25 years that went the Patriots' way. Just the endless memes, and it's just like, yep, it's rigged. You and your tinfoil hats and your conspiracies, just stop it, okay? The jealousy has gone to a point. I had people delete me off Facebook. Just delete me because I'm a Pats fan. I'm sick of Tom Brady. LaRock deleted, unfriend. Like, who does that? It's just the hate is like an all-time high.
As he records from Tom Brady's garage.
It's just, well, you have to kneel and then do the holy water. But yeah,
that's for another podcast, though.
John, you go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm gonna nip this Tom Brady shit in the bud right now. And I'm going to explain this whole Tom Brady situation. It's going to be real quick. Everybody had that one kid growing up that had the coolest toy and would not share it with anybody. Tom Brady is that fucking guy. He's a stingy asshole that doesn't want to share. And he's like, oh, here, you can hold it. Here's the lead. You can hold it for a little bit and then snatch this shit away. He's an asshole.
Oh man, that's
brilliant.
So funny. That is so funny.
He's a stingy motherfucker.
Show me where Tom Brady hurt you.
Damn it!
in the third quarter.
Yeah, right in the heart.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Well, I want to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters. Our Patreon account is doing really well, and a special shout out to Thomas Gilkey, who is from Boston, who's from the New England area. So I don't know if we've talked about New England or the area this podcast, but Thomas is from the same place where Tom Brady plays football, and he's been winning championships for a long time.
The New England area, but we love it.
I'm going to let you know that
lobster rolls are better than cheesesteaks.
Thomas is actually going to allow me to take a day off. I'm sure of it. So there'll be a day in Sports Wars that I'm a ghost. So
I heard that. But yeah, Thomas with his Patreon support is amazing, and Miguel with his Patreon support, and everyone that gives, even if it's just $1 to the Patreon account, it's really appreciated. And shout out to Philadelphia fans for giving me a chance to say, hey, Patriot fans aren't really that bad just because we have a team that wins. I don't really see what the big deal is. And they've done a great job of making New England maybe America's team before it's all said and done. We'll see.
Fuck that. No.
They put Crisco on light poles.
Yeah,
they were
man.
the Crisco cops.
Hey, I gotta say,
still didn't work.
It's gonna be an exciting 2 weeks to see just all the nonsense that they are doing.
I can't imagine what's gonna happen if Philadelphia somehow pulls this off.
Oh my God!
It's gonna be like the Purge.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's gonna be like the Purge in Philadelphia. They're gonna have to shut down the city, just put a bubble around it, go a full-on escape from New York, and just send Kurt Russell in.
You do know, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be incorrect on this, but in The Dark Knight Rises, I believe they shot Gotham from Philadelphia. So that's basically what it's going to be like.
Wow.
Like, they're going to shut the city down. The bridges are going to need to be blown out, and Bane's going to take over.
The mayor's going to be on TV. Where's Christian Bale?
Yeah, it's going to be. But
I just like the fact that there's a movie reference that I've watched. And
I'm very proud of you for that. I'm very proud of you.
We need like a list of movies that you like. That way we can just kind of work those in. And
anything Tarantino does, and Mean Girls,
or Mark Wahlberg.
Or Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, and one more thing I'd like to point out, I'm sure that this is not unintentional at all. The fact that LaRock has leaned just enough this entire episode for us to see that damn Super Bowl badge.
Oh, was that?
He's gonna
I
need
honestly
to
didn't even know what I was
back
wearing.
massage after this. He's already made the appointment to his chiropractor.
But anyway, for Roy, for David, for John, thank you guys for joining the Sports Wars podcast this week. We will be back next week to talk about Super Bowl. What is it, 52?
50. They won 51. 52.
Yeah, because
Y'all act like y'all.
who won 51?
Get out of here. Close it down. Let's go.
Guys have a great night.
Fuck Tom Brady.